just treating people like humans and like acknowledging them like for what they do and stuff is super helpful. And it kind of works the opposite way too. Is like I've been in a lot of emails where like there'll be so many people CC'd, and then someone will come in and be like, "Oh, my name's so and so," and I was like, "Wait a minute, are you the one from that one thread from this?" And like they're like, "Yeah," and then you meet them and you have that like personal connection and like the face and the personality and stuff, and you like that connection is real. And so getting in there and being like having that personal reaction, like asking them how they're doing or telling them they did a good job, like that's always super useful. Yeah, that's a great way to go about it. And you just get a sense of the venue. Like Barbosa is a very unique venue.
It is.
Yeah, so getting a feel for the space and like going like, do I want to play here or no, like that kind of thing, or like just how you're gonna approach the whole show. It's like it's a really good way to go about it.
Like this. Welcome back to the Face of Music podcast. We We are your hosts. I'm Emanuel Brown, and this is
Sarey Savi.
Yeah, and we have a special guest today, a legend. Yes. I don't use the word legend lightly, but when I say legend, I really want people to understand that I mean it in like the highest level of respect, because I feel like you have so much to offer, and you given us a lot of opportunities that we are super grateful for, and we feel like you have a lot to share. We got Jesse Rockey. Is it Rockey?
Yeah. Jesse Rockey, yeah.
Nice.
Rockey.
Yeah, Rockey. He's well, how about you explain what you do to the people?
I do a lot of stuff. I have, I don't know, like 5 or 6 jobs at any given time, but primarily I'm a production manager at the Nectar Lounge and High Dive in Fremont, Seattle. Nice. I currently work at Crocodile. They're kind of in the works for trying to get me, I probably shouldn't say this, but full-time production there. So I'm going to try to balance those things and see what happens in that respect. But I also work operations management and a bit of graphic design for Freakout Festival. So I work for Freakout Records. They just turned a nonprofit, which is really dope.
That's awesome.
And I'm on the board there. So I have a little say on like how that goes. Yeah, it's really cool. And then I just do like kind of freelance graphic design stuff. I have like a couple other side gigs that are just,
busy
money making, busy work. Yeah. So
he's very busy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time, man, to sit with us. We know that sounds like a lot more shit than I do.
Actually, I didn't realize I got to go in like 2 minutes, so we should probably wrap this up.
Well, that's it, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for coming.
So dead.
I'm the new permanent host, so
right.
I love it.
7 jobs now.
Well,
right,
Jesse. We wanted to bring you on because the Face of Music podcast is all about educating artists. A lot of information is unfortunately held back by gatekeepers, and part of the whole point of Face the Music podcast is to turn our own experiences as a learning curve for people who watch it, and also for fans to get a better insight as to like what goes on behind the curtain in the music business. Sure. And we've also built I like to think, a really great relationship with you, and you've been so kind and so compassionate. You and all of the team at the High Dive.
Like shout them out. Shout them out.
Like Seth, Abby, and Schwa,
Akshay,
Brittany, is Will.
Will.
Amazing.
Will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does he still go by Will?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will
and
Chris.
Yes. Is that it for the High Dive part that we've met?
That's it for the High Dive. And then we met, like I knew about Mario before, but we formally met.
Yes, I just met Mario.
Ago, yeah.
But Mario is more so kind of the booking, like overall, like a general, right?
Is that?
Mario's one of the 3 bookers that we have. Seth is like the lead booker at High Dive.
Okay.
But Mario and Andy tonight actually do occasional booking there as well.
Okay.
Based on like the style of.
We got everyone's names right. I want to make sure no one's forgotten.
I mean, we have probably 12 different sound engineers. I mean, maybe even like 16 different sound engineers that just kind of bop around.
We've only met
exactly.
We've only met, but so here's the thing: like shows are a huge thing. It's a huge thing, especially for independent artists who are trying to make money.
Signed artists too.
And signed artists too, yes. But the difference is that those signed artists have a team that have those relationships already. Independent artists don't,
Yep.
Right. A lot of independent artists, they're kind of building their network from the ground up. So we wanted to bring you on because I think it'd be very enticing and super interesting for you to talk about like how would if I'm like an independent artist and I wanted to book a show, but I didn't know like what the right way to go about that was and what best practices were, what to do, what not to do when you're talking to a booker. Like I really want you to like break that down.
And before you jump in, I wanted to say too, if y'all felt comfortable, I think it would be dope if we shared how we did that and how we got to this point as
That
well.
would be really great, actually. Yeah.
Actually, I would love to hear your experience first because in production, I don't so much set up the shows as I
Yeah.
do just kind of keep the conversation going and make sure
Yeah.
everything runs smoothly. So would love to be a talent buyer. I'm working towards it. I kind of unofficially booked my first event like
Hell
just
yeah.
this week.
Nice.
It's not open for the public, so it's not really like yeah, but I kind of got an idea for the process, and that's just you have to get the conversation going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, just send something out of the venues, start talking to people. You can talk to them personally. That definitely makes an impression, or just like send an email. There's always contact info available. And that's kind of my thing as a booker. Like every booker I've talked to is like, well, sorry, I'm not a booker, but every booker I've talked to is like, just go for it.
By
Like,
the time this is out, you probably will be.
I
Yeah.
hope so, yeah. But they just, you know, send out an email to the artist, say like, I'm really interested in, you know, have this like space available. Like, what do you usually need? What kind of like payment are you expecting?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of accommodations do you need for like tech stuff or like hospitality? And just like throw it out there and see what they say. And
Yeah.
they'll always work with you, as far as I understand. They'll always work with you to like, you know, make something happen, especially if they like your music or find you to be like really cool people.
Yeah.
They want that stuff. And there's, you know, with a venue that's regularly open and only has a couple dark days a week, if that, they're always looking for something and to fill gaps and like get something going. So, but I'd love to hear you like.
It was you though.
Yeah.
It was you who got us started at the High Dive. So we owe that to you. You should tell that story.
Okay. I mean, do you want me to like start from like the beginning, like when I like tried the first book at the High Dive? Or
I
when
don't want your life story. Are you kidding me right now? No, I just want to. Just
You might have to summarize it.
just simply like how did you first like reach out? I guess. Wait, why am I asking questions?
No, this is no. This is great.
great.
This is great.
Sure.
So yeah, I usually what I usually would do is I would just like Google, like, all right, like, you know, what's the fucking music venues out here, and then I would just see a list of them, and I'd be like, okay, that's too big. I can't do that. I'm not. You know what I mean? Like you got to be realistic with yourself too.
Yeah, and you find that out really fast too.
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
doing it like you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, oh, like I could book at WAMU Theater. Yeah, right. Right. So then like I would look, and then I would just be like, okay, like High Dive looks like something like I could probably, you know, if they give me the opportunity, I'll play. So
Sure.
I go to the website, scroll to the bottom. I'll be like, okay, contact. Okay, here's the email. Boom. All right. You know, whatever the email, go to the website, people. Like literally, it's like, it's not hard to go to the website and just look. And then I was just like, okay, let me just, you know, send out an email. And I literally just asked. I was like, hey, like my name's Emanuel Brown. You know, I'm a hip hop and R&B artist. Boom. I'll put in the subject line. This is gems right now. I'm giving you. I'll put in the subject line. I'll be like, Emanuel Brown, hip hop R&B artist, potential booking inquiry. That's literally what I put every time.
Bookers love really good subject lines. Very clear.
What's a bad one?
Dates and if you don't have like the date or like any of the pertinent information on top. I'm just saying they just love organized stuff.
See, that's good because I didn't know that. When I used to reach out, I'd just be like, booking inquiry.
Well, but I would put that in the subject line, and then in the actual body, I would put hello. And you know, if I knew the person, like if I knew who the person was, or I could find a name, I would address them.
Oh yeah.
To see like if I was correct or not.
Yeah. Well, it's like just sending out a resume for like most folks is just, you know, send them out everywhere, see what comes back and pick what you want to do.
Right.
And it's, you know, as you want to be professional, but as personal as you can make it. And like, you know, you want to have that kind of energy too.
Right.
Just as much as you learn and as much as you can do
Mm-hmm.
to make it a personal, like very human, like interaction
Right.
over an email, like, that helps a lot. So it's,
Yeah.
but it's like, just imagine you're like applying for
Yeah.
whatever, you know,
Absolutely.
you're
But
just putting yourself out there, really.
Yeah.
absolutely. And I would say, hey, you know, so like high dive when I didn't know who I was speaking to, I'd be like, hello, highlight. I'd be like, hello, high
Dive.
yeah, high dive team.
I love your beard. No.
Yeah, hello, high dive team. My name is Emanuel Brown. I'm a hip hop and R&B artist out of the greater Seattle area. I'm looking to do a show here on these potential dates if you would have me, or around these months if you would have me. This is my draw. This is what I can bring in.
Listen closely.
Very good.
These are the artists I have worked with before. These are the places I have played before, right? And then I'll say, you know, if you would have me, you know, here is a link to my music. Boom. And that's it. And then I'll just send it off.
Well, what was like your very first, like...
Oh, very first, like, email?
Yeah, because I imagine a lot of people are doing that for the very first time. Like, how did you reach out the very first time? I don't know where it was, or like, you just kind of knew somebody, or...
No, I didn't know anybody. I mean, because remember, like, I mean,
that's true.
Yeah, you know, because I'm not from here, so it's like I just like, I literally would watch videos. Like, I would go online and I would just like watch videos like how to book a show, and I would just read. I would just watch what people would do, and they would be like, "Oh, make sure you address them, say where, say when, you know, be polite, keep it brief." You know what I mean? Like, because they're getting hundreds of emails a day. Get to the point.
Yeah.
Get to the point within 5 sentences. So I'd be like, okay, how can I get to it? And then I would like look at templates and be like, okay, this is how I do it. And then, like, you know, when I didn't really have any draw, I just would just send out emails, and I wouldn't get responses at all. Like, for like the first 2 years, I would send out emails, no responses, zero.
Okay.
And I mean, actually, that's not true. I got one response from Evan at Numos, and
really?
he said to me, I was like, I would love to play at your, I would love to play at your venue, and he said to me, and I love it. I love that he did this. He said, "Hey, thanks for your inquiry. Get your numbers up." That's what he said. And I was like, fuck yeah, because it's feedback. You know what I mean? Like, you gave me something to work on. It's like, oh, okay, I'm not like at a place yet where I can play here.
Yeah.
You know, so then like and then the pandemic happened. I took a break, and then I literally just sent out that email like I just said to High Dive, and Seth got back to me. He was like, "Yeah, what are you thinking?" And I'm like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, okay, don't fuck this up. So I'm just like, these dates, like, you know, I'm looking for this day on maybe a Friday or Saturday. And like, one thing I had to learn for the listeners here, you can't just start on a Friday. You gotta like work it up to a Friday, from a Monday to a Thursday to a Sunday, then to a Friday. You know what I mean? Friday, Saturday. So like, I remember when we were booking the KSC show, you ran that first show, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's where I recognized King from the YouTube ads that kept popping up while I was trying to play Candy Crush or something. I was like, that guy.
No, you're fine.
It was great. It was an amazing show.
So yeah, we that's how that happened. And then you know, I was like, hey, can we do a Friday? He was like, let's do a Monday. And I was like, fuck. But I was like, okay. I was like, all right, cool. And then I was like, okay, let's, you know, like, we understand, like, you gotta show what you can do. And then, you know, you said we did well that night. He said we did well that night. Yeah. So that's how that happened.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I mean, with that being said, like, I forgot that we I've been trying so hard to get KSC out of my memory, and you just
you brought it up.
Yeah, I know. I never should have done that, but it's fine. It's probably very reminiscent for a lot of people. But I really wanted to. So first of all, you mentioned a lot of great things. Mm-hmm. So you talked a little bit about obviously the process, but you also talked about working your way up. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I don't think a lot of artists understand. I think that a lot of people, especially people who are starting out, like to shoot for the stars very quickly.
I also think too, sometimes you have to, like, if you don't know what's going on, like, go buy a ticket to a show.
Yes.
Like, literally, like, I did this recently. I just bought a ticket to a show, and I was like, I want to go see what this venue looks like. Yeah. And I was like, look at their calendar. Oh, I can make this day. Bought a ticket, and then I just show up. And then when I show up, I watch the show. I look at who's running the lights. I look at who's at the door. I look at who's at the bar, and I'm like, hey, what's your name? And they're like always surprised. Because like
Yeah.
most people never ask the bartender what's their name. Most people who perform never ask the sound engineer or the person who's running the front and taking tickets, like, what's your name? And they're like, why the fuck are you asking me what my name is for, right? And then they're like, oh, my name's Diana. And I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. I'm Emanuel, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I love the show tonight. Like, we went to the Anna Thompson show at the fucking
We did.
yeah, what the fuck
At Barboza.
Barboza.
Yeah,
And we walk
nice.
in there and like the show's over. It was a good show. And the show was over and I walked right over to the front of the house and I was like, hey, what's your name, man? And he was just like, Steven. I'm like, hey, Steven. And I was like, hey, lights were amazing tonight. You know what I mean? Because like people want to feel like they matter. So I think I did that because I genuinely loved the show. And I think what they did was great because I have an appreciation for that now. Yeah. But I also think that's a way for people to like get people to remember them. To be like, when you do put that booking in or you do submit that email, they're like, damn, bro, like that dude was, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's just treating people like humans and like acknowledging them like for what they do and stuff is super helpful. And it kind of works the opposite way too. Is like I've been in a lot of emails where like there'll be so many people CC'd and then someone will come in and be like, oh, my name's so-and-so. And I was like, wait a minute, are you the one from that one thread from this? And like they're like, yeah. And then you meet them and you have that like personal connection and like the face and the personality and stuff, and you like that connection is real. And so getting in there and being like having that personal reaction, like asking them how they're doing or telling them they did a good job, like that's always super useful. That's a great way to go about it. And you just get a sense of the venue. Like Barboza is a very unique venue.
It is.
So getting a feel for the space and like going like, do I want to play here or no, like that kind of thing, or like just how you're going to approach the whole show. It's like that's a really good way to go about it.
Well, with that said, did you have anything to say before I start running my fucking mouth?
Go ahead.
Okay. With that said, how do you feel like on the flip side of it? Like when we let's use us for example, right? Like you don't know us from fucking Adam. We show up on that Monday and then, we're just like, we're respectful, saying hi, like, what's your name, blah, 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 asking all these questions. Like, how did that make you feel, like, working at a venue? Like, how did
it's always pleasant to me. Like you said, sometimes the reactions are like, why are you asking me that? But everyone I know that I work with is really excited to have somebody just kind of, like, acknowledge them, especially, if you're on stage and saying, like, hey, thanks to, Trevor and,
I remember we had that conversation after they left. Yeah, and
you just kind of, like, thank everybody that, like, put effort towards the event itself, and like that means a lot, and like people recognize that and they hear that and it feels good. Like I think it's great, even when regulars or customers come in and like say that kind of thing. It's like it's nice. So I mean, go for it. Like, and if they're dicks about it, just find a different venue.
I mean, exactly. But like for people who don't know, I mean, like, what is a production manager?
I mean, at the venue that I'm working at, it's kind of like the middle, like kind of the messenger between the artist and the booker. So the booker will set everything up as far as like how much the artist is getting paid and like what kind of hospitality or like lodging they should expect, or like travel expenses and stuff like that. So they kind of like set everything up, and then the production manager like picks it up. They'll send out an advance, it's just an email or other message that kind of explains the specifics of the venue, what to expect on the day of show, like how to contact people, what kind of hospitality to expect, or like if you need to fiddle with anything to kind of make it work with a budget. And then at that point, I guess at our venues, like that goes into ticketing and stuff like that. Like I'll be at the door checking guest lists and just taking tickets and like making sure the artists are getting like a good crowd in. You can get deals and stuff at the door, and like try to fill the venue out a little better early on so that more people will walk up and like want to get tickets and stuff. But then at the end of the night, you settle with the artists and like you just kind of keep track of how the artists are doing and make sure that everything's running smoothly for them. Obviously the sound engineers are handling all the tech stuff, but production manager kind of handles all the other things. And
so like the logisticals,
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
before and then during the show.
Yep.
So for people who are interested in booking a show at the High Dive or Nectar, what is something that you all look for?
Well, since I'm not a talent buyer or booker, I can't really say specifically.
Okay.
But from what I understand, they look at numbers a lot. So it's like Spotify, YouTube, kind of Instagram numbers.
Oh my God, then I'm nervous. My numbers are horrible.
Not always. Like they'll listen.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Depending on like depending on how. I mean, they'll listen to your music, but like depending on how much how many people are kind of like applying, I guess you could say, to work at the venue. They'll listen to your music for the most part, unless they're just getting flooded with stuff. Like they'll just kind of pick the people that are proving themselves. Yeah. But from what I understand, they're looking for people that are easy to work with. If other venues or they've worked with the artists in the past and they have have had a good experience and are fairly easy to set up. I mean, that's not the biggest factor, but a lot of that kind of stuff, like they look into all those little things, but like it's a lot of number stuff as far as the bookers I've encountered.
Okay. Well, they got to make money.
Yeah.
So I mean, true. At the end of the day, like there's a bottom line. Everybody got to get paid. So.
Yeah, but some of them are just looking for fun, new, exciting stuff that might be gaining traction. So it's just like
wow.
Do you so for like the splits for who takes what at the end of the night between the artist and the venue, like does High Dive and Nectar Lounge have like already like a number and it's like that's non-negotiable, or can artists negotiate for like a higher split or?
Well, so that's kind of like another booker question. But, okay. And I don't know how much I can say, but like, there's usually a certain percentage, like kind of in the closer to 100 range, but between 50 and 100 where they'll like that's how much of the door like they'll get. And like a lot of venues, especially if there's a bar involved, they're kind of counting on like liquor sales because the overhead is a lot higher there.
So okay, great. That's good to know.
But then there's like guarantees, if they're like you're worth $250 tonight or something, like they'll
worth $250
tonight. That's what for like
No, I know.
But that's it's all negotiable. It's like that's the whole point of like talking to the booker in the first place. And when you first reach out, they'll be like, they'll talk to you about that.
I've always been curious, like, because you're the person that we've spoken to that has been the production manager for our shows, and like you're the one that sends us the email about what to expect day of and things like that. But like when it comes to like the hospitality part, like what are things that you can't do and things that you can do?
I don't know, everyone wants oh God. I already know where this is going with you. But
everyone wants black towels for some reason. Which we always have white towels. I don't know what the deal is with that.
What?
I think it might be because like of the sweat, maybe. Like
they just don't want gross looking towels on stage or something. I don't know. We never have black towels. I don't know who does, but
right.
I like we can do anything within reason. It's just a matter of communicating and like arranging it beforehand. And some things take a lot more than others. Like I usually just kind of drive to the grocery store to I don't know if I can drop any names. Like a local grocery store and grab, whatever they need. But like a lot of people want like vegan or organic or local like items, and that's a little trickier. It's all just kind of like with keeping it within budget, and a lot of artists, they account for that, or I'll ask them like, what are your priorities? What do you need? And almost every artist is just chill with like, oh, we just want drinks tonight, or we just want a couple snacks, and
that's what they include in like their rider or whatever.
Yeah, a rider, or if you're getting a budget for the first time, you can just chat and like.
Can you explain what a rider is?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, of course. A rider is. I mean, a rider can include a lot of things like tech info, stage plots, input lists. Hospitality is basically just like any accommodations, like day of show as far as like food or just supplies like on stage, bottled waters and stuff like that, easy stuff. But they get kind of crazy sometimes. We've had a couple artists want us to set like a whole like Subway restaurant up in their green room with like sliced like cheeses and meats and stuff, and like
really
kosher and like I mean, luckily the worst one I saw, the artist wound up canceling, so I didn't have to go deal with that for 3 hours.
Wow.
But yeah, like you know,
What?
it's nice when it's reasonable, unless you're at like a huge venue that has like a catering team that can like
Yeah.
handle that kind of stuff.
Like
But
the ones we all are thinking about right now that we won't name.
oh,
Because we can't. We
yeah.
shouldn't name them. We shouldn't name them.
I don't know. I'm
Okay, we're not gonna name them.
I'm
But
so
yeah.
glad.
I'll be careful about it. But yeah, no, it's most of them are within reason. So
Yeah.
but yeah, and then like, so the rest of the ride will be like it's like hospitality, and then any like if they need like hotel accommodations or something, they'll just say like, hey, we want this.
So
Wow.
wow, I didn't realize because when you for the hospitable part from High Dive or Nectar Lounge, I always assumed that it was just like whatever you had there available. I didn't realize that people could be like, hey, can you get this snack for me? You know, or like, hey, can you help me figure out a hotel? So like when you do that stuff, right? Like when you are like booking a hotel for somebody, or because I'm imagining that's what you're doing for like an artist.
Well, that's a booker job,
Okay,
literally.
so that for the snacks part, for the well, because but doesn't that go to the hospitality part though? For
Yes.
you as a production manager,
Well, production is like day of show hospitality. So the bookers,
exclusively.
not totally, like because we're corresponding before, like in advance of the show. That's
Yeah.
kind of the idea, is just to keep that contact between the initial contact and day of show. But like day of show itself, it's like I'm running out to grab, you know, pistachios for somebody like
Yeah.
before the show.
Where does that money come out of? Does that come out of like their percentage for the night after ticket sales and stuff, or?
The budget is arranged beforehand. It's included in the settlement, at least the way we do it.
Oh,
And so it is an expense on the you know, the total settlement agreement.
Okay.
Right.
And
Okay.
like, but again, you can like negotiate that. Like I have a band tonight that didn't have a hospitality budget. No, that wasn't tonight. This is a different night, but that's
Yeah.
irrelevant. But they had like they were like, yeah, we do want food and stuff, and so the booker was like, okay, can we do? Is it $200 budget? Okay, that's going to come out of your expenses though, and so
I
we're
didn't
waiting
know
on.
that.
Yeah.
So that's not something that.
So if you want like gummy bears at your next show, just give us like a $3 hospitality.
I'm
budget.
laughing.
Yeah.
I'm laughing for the people because like I know now when we book a show or Sarey books a show in the future, he's like, can I please have
Can I please have like sparkling water?
Yeah, can I have San Pellegrino, please? I need a case here in the fridge, cold and chilled for me.
Make it happen. I got
Yeah,
it.
fuck
Sure.
it. Yeah, no.
Well, that's first of all, I didn't know that. But second of all, that's also I feel like there's no other. I feel like I should be like thinking for like that kind. I don't know if that's like a normal thing in the show world.
No, I feel you.
It's,
Yeah.
there's like a threshold, like, you know,
Okay.
bands get to a certain point where they're just like, okay, we're touring so much, we don't have time to like stop at a grocery store. We just want like these snacks. In fact, one of the bigger bands we got recently had this is the first time I've seen this, and I'm not like at a high, like I'm not like at a high volume venue necessarily, like the more like a Lumen Field or something ridiculous, but this is the first time I've seen they had 2 rider lists. It was list A and list B, and they're like, we like to mix it up. We don't like to have the same snacks every day. So
what the
they have
fuck?
like, this one is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, or whatever, and this one is like Tuesday, Thursday.
Crazy.
And I was like, jeez. But then the only difference between the lists were like one had beer and one didn't.
Yeah.
So I was like, you could have
Yeah.
mixed that up a little better.
That's
but
crazy that you
I'm still
go
like,
out of
dang.
your way though to like go to the grocery store when people have those kind of. I'm sorry, but for me that just doesn't feel like. Obviously, I want an assistant in the future, but like but for me that doesn't feel right to like like I wouldn't boss somebody around, but I'd be weird being like, hey Jesse, can you go to the store for me and get like seaweed or something? You know, like,
Well, I mean, it's incorporated into like the load-in time, and it's kind of fun to shop for bands. Like I got like some chocolates,
but
for
don't get carried
Chromeo
away.
and stuff.
absolutely.
It's kind of cool. And then
You're a human being still. Like people shouldn't take advantage of that and treat you like shit.
yeah.
So
No, I mean it's never like such an I mean the Subway spread like buffet kind of thing is a little much, but like we expect that with a bigger artist anyway, so it's kind of like you know, I'll come in early and like get it handled, but for the most part like it's really simple, just like chips and salsas on their lot, and like you know, sodas or whatever the venue doesn't already have.
that's
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah, but it's not that big of an inconvenience. It's a quick like 30-minute trip, which we account for that time already. So it's like, don't feel bad if that's what you need. It's just going to come out of your expenses.
So like, I know, we know you have to get out of here in a little bit. So like,
I got time.
Okay. Well, we also wanted to, we need to do like a part 2, don't you think?
We do, because I feel like this is deep.
Yeah, this is way deeper than we thought it was gonna be. Yeah. But I want to know, like, what is one thing you wish, like, artists knew that they should do?
I was literally gonna ask that.
Like they know they should do more for, like, you know, production, for booking, just for overall the staff that are at shows. Yeah, shout out Lemon Perfect.
Lemon Perfect, delicious, tickles my tummy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Before you answer that question, Lemon Perfect blessed the high dive with like 30 cases of water. Yeah.
That was, I heard 30 cases initially and was like, yeah, we can do that. And then they showed up and it was like
30 cases
covering their entire bar, and the bar manager was like, no, like, we gotta find a spot for these.
We're so grateful for that. We're so grateful for you all for working with us on that. And also grateful for Lemon Perfect and their team for like even doing that.
Shout
like, what the fuck?
Alexa,
Sharmista,
Peter,
Yanni,
Josh. Did Julietta did she help with that too? Bringing it in, and Eddie and Michael and Mia. Shout out to all of y'all for like helping bring that in that day for the show.
And if we're missing you, we're sorry. Yeah. It's not intentional.
It's not.
But the staff loved the water. It went really fast. Yeah. You know, we kept a few for the staff, and
I'm glad that they all enjoyed it. That's good. That's good, because we want to make sure that, you know, if we're connecting people, that it's purposeful.
By the time this comes out, the new flavor will be out. So should we say what the new flavor is right now?
It will be out by the time this is. Yeah, say it, man.
Yeah, so they're gonna have a new flavor out, watermelon. It's
watermelon.
Amazing. It's amazing.
It's so good.
I'm getting that early. I'm getting it ahead of it.
Yeah. So make sure
tell everybody.
Yeah, make sure y'all go buy that in the stores right now or online at their website. But anyways, I'm sorry. Back to the
Oh, I vaguely remember the question. I remember it was very loaded and like broad. So
the question was like, what's something you think people should know, like artists should know that they should do for bookers, you know, the staff and production when they're coming to a show? Like, what's one thing you guys expect and would like to see? Like, let's leave it at that. Let's end it with that.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back and do it again.
Yeah, there's a lot that really helps, I guess. I mean, just being a cool person and communicating in a timely manner. I know that's difficult, like if you're on the road.
But it shouldn't be. Communication shouldn't be difficult.
Sure not.
Especially if you're starting out.
Yeah, I had somebody call me in traffic today and they're just like, just like the lead singer was like driving, and they're like, you know, like we ran into traffic, so I had an opportunity to call you and keep communication up, and like heard of all kinds of horror stories of people on the road getting stuck in the desert and stuff and just not having service or anything. So it happens. It's not easy to like keep that communication up, especially when you have so many shows in a row. I know from my end, like I'll completely forget I have to be at shows certain nights. Like when I started, I was like, I'm going to research everybody. I'm going to be like, I'm going to remember everyone's names beforehand and all this stuff. And I was like, you just don't have time for it.
Yeah.
So it's the same in the opposite direction for the artists, like going to each venue. They're like, where are we tomorrow? Like Vancouver or Chicago? I don't remember. And so just kind of keeping track of everything and making sure you're keeping on top of getting communication back quickly, because miscommunications can go wrong really fast. And if one bounce back of correspondence is not, is missed or something, like that can screw up a lot of things during the show. So it's just like keep communication up. And just be a good person when you get there, like show up on time, make sure you're introducing yourself to, like, you know, for me, it's like I'm front of house, I'm production, sound engineers, whoever else might be there, throughout the night. I'm sure bigger venues have a lot more folks, that you're dealing with. So, just keep in touch with everybody and make sure you're having your needs met, like right away. Like keep track of what it is that you need to have during the show, and like communicate that like right away, and introduce yourself, be a good person. I find a lot of artists, when they first show up, like they're kind of flustered and like trying to get stuff handled really quick. So I like to try to make a really good first impression and like make sure that everything is sorted out early, because then that puts the artist kind of at ease, and they can like focus on.
You're so good at that. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, because what you're saying is me. At every show, I'm just like, bro, what
you are.
fuck?
He's such an asshole. He's such a fucker the day of the show.
I am.
Everyone
to them, not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure. And we try to avoid him, but we can't because we have to do business with him. Right. So,
And I'm only that way because like I know, and he knows this now because you just did your first in a while, your first headlining show in a while. You've done your first before. You done. Before, but I mean, like it's like
Seattle though.
Okay, well, still, but I mean, like it's just like so much to do. It's so much to do.
It is.
You got to make sure.
Well, and there's a time limit every night, so it's nice getting yourself situated and getting like kind of the people you're working with situated, so that you can focus on your own like mental needs as far as like preparing yourself for the show itself.
Right.
So getting that stuff out of the way early, getting the communication handled before the show, and like guest lists and everything. If you can organize all that stuff, you're making it easier for yourself to just kind of knock out the stuff happening the day of show as soon as you get there. Getting checked in with your wristbands and like making sure the sound engineer knows if you need like in-ear monitors or something like that, and like they can accommodate all of that, and then you can just kind of focus on what you're doing for a while. Get some food in your belly. I know you need some, as you said. But yeah, just stuff like that. And I mean, just like you said, just kind of being a human being and like treating other people like human beings, that's like very much appreciated. I'd say the general majority of the artists we get are really cool, but we get some that just come in and they're just flustered and like picky and just want all this stuff, and like you got to realize like each venue is going to have different accommodations, and like you got to kind of go with the flow and be cool with whatever is there
they can offer.
That's why we like the new bands. They come in and they're like, whoa, we have monitors, or like, wow, there's a green room, this is so cool. And it's like our green room's not like super fancy or anything, but when artists come in and they're like, oh, you don't have showers here and stuff like that, it's like you gotta like kind of just know like the venues that you're going to. It's hard to keep track of it all during a tour or whatever, but just like kind of knowing what to expect and setting your expectations at like a reasonable level, and not like showing up with an attitude or anything. And that's easy to do when you get stuck in the desert or whatever. And you show up and you're like running late and you're like, but just be cool. And like the venues will want to have you back.
Nice.
Even if you didn't bring a bunch of people in, there's holidays, there's other shows that draw the crowd away or something. And it's like, just because you have low numbers doesn't mean the venue's not going to want to bring you back. If you're cool and you're easy to work with, they'll remember that, and like they might just bring you back as an opener on a weekday or something, but they will bring you back.
We got to save that conversation.
I'm living proof.
Yes.
Literally, I got booked. For just being cool, like for an opener, like for an open and touring act. Just
he's very talented as well. That was a factor.
He is. He's very talented. One of the best guys I know.
Thank you.
No, not me, just you and the rest of the crew. I'm not nearly as talented.
All of you are great. Also, you took me out for dinner, which is literally the first time that's ever happened with any artist I work with. Just took me out for freaking tacos and to hang out for like 2 hours, 5 different amazing, talented artists.
Oh, thanks.
And just me. And and then like after 2 hours, they're like, so we got some tech questions here. Like, can we get that? Can we do this? Can we do this? And I was like, of course you can. This is amazing. Like that never happened. So I was like, you don't have to do that every time, but like, just be appreciative and like, just create that connection. And especially if it's like a local place that you expect to be back to, definitely put the effort in, because it means a lot. I mean, I wouldn't be here if like we didn't have that dinner and stuff. And so it's like really. Yeah, it's just great. It's great to collaborate and like any projects I work on in the future, I have you all in mind. So, that's
thank you.
Yeah.
That's
little things like that. It's really important.
We are grateful.
Yeah.
So we have to do a part 2. We
Yeah.
absolutely have to, because there's
Yeah.
so much more that we need to talk about
Yeah.
when it comes to production management. There's layers to it. So
Uber.
yeah, thank you so much for being here. This is part 1 of a 2-part series, okay? And Jesse, we would love to have you back for the next season to come and dive a little bit more deeper.
I'm gonna have to check my schedule.
Oh, yeah.
No, I
But-
would love to come back, of course.
Thank you. And I think that this was a really great conversation. We dropped a multitude of different things. And so I really encourage artists and fans who are watching this to go back and rewatch some of the things that we talked about, because when we talk about part 2, we're gonna go based off of what we talked about in part 1 and kind of go a little bit deeper.
We're gonna talk about why you need to buy tickets early,
Yeah.
why you don't need to wait till they have to
Yeah.
buy tickets, and all that. But yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So we'll dig into that. But Jesse, is there a way people can find you?
If you want people,
yeah,
to
if you
find
if you want people to find you on social media.
I don't really have a lot of social media set up right now, to be honest, but I would love to kind of set something up, especially
Yeah.
before part
Yeah.
2, to kind of get a little more traction there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do a lot of graphic design, and like I've been kind of half posting that kind of thing
Yeah.
on my account. I'll release that later next time. But
That sounds
yeah.
great.
yeah.
Well, I guess in the meantime, if y'all want to get to know Jesse, swing by the High Dive.
Nectar,
Yeah.
High Dive, Crocodile.
Nectar. Yeah,
Freak Out
Crocodile.
Festival. It's coming up November 2nd through 5th. It's going to be
Nice.
really
Yeah.
cool. It's psych rock. But
And yeah, but
yeah.
say hi, swing by,
Yeah.
say hi, treat him like a human being, please.
Yeah,
Especially if you heard about him through us,
yeah.
please. And you're watching this. And Jesse, thank you so much for joining us. Just as a reminder, we drop episodes every other Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But I don't know if we should ask the question now or if we should do it on the next season.
Let's do it on the next one.
On the next one? Okay.
Yeah.
We usually have a question we ask guests at the end of the episode, but since this is 2-part, we're going to save it for the next one.
Yeah.
But that being said, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you have any questions or any feedback, leave that in the comments below, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Like this.